To quote Rod Stewart, it's been a long road getting from there to here. Wow. We finally got to see a full in-hand photo shoot and later on video of Transformers Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, the Voyager. And I talked about it previously based off of blurry images, and I picked apart what I liked and what I didn't like. But now that we have a clearer indication of how this looks, I am flabbergasted by just how good this figure looks. I mean, literally everything up to this point has still not captured the perfection of the Fluoro Diri design, but this comes probably as close as it gets from a transforming product. We still have nothing that has reached the perfection of the Metalverse statue, but it's a statue. It doesn't have to transform. It doesn't have to worry about joints. But we have this now. And man, oh man, is this incredible. We finally got a good idea of also what are the parts and pieces that this comes with, which is very important because it's a Voyager. And so a lot of people are like, well, why is it in that price point? Well, it's probably leaning on more of an accessory thing. And what we have confirmed 100% is that he's going to come with two guns. One gun that's based off of his 1986 original toy gun, which he's used sometimes in Season 3 in the show. And he also comes with a gun that's very reminiscent of his Rodimus Prime Photon Eliminator, which is kind of perplexing. Maybe it's because we have the Kingdom Rodimus that's going to be coming, and maybe you could take the gun from that one and give it to this one. Who knows? But it's also interesting that he has a gun that's very reminiscent of the Photon Eliminator from 1986 Rodimus Prime. He also comes with a saw blade that when I looked at it, it made me double take and have to look at the 2.0 masterpiece Hot Rodimus because it looks very similar in sculpting to that one, but it is its own original sculpt. Comes with a matrix that is actually just a remolding of the same matrix that came with Earthrise Leader Class Optimus Prime, but it comes with an extra energy accessory to have the Arise Rodimus Prime, or alternatively, the catching of the Matrix when Optimus let go of it in his death scene. He also comes with energy parts for his guns, so that's a nice little touch too. And then he has some built-in accessories like his welder that's built into his wrist, which he used to fix Cup, and he also has a built-in shades, which we discussed previously in the segment. So he has his little Lookout Mountain goggles. So there's a lot of good going on here. It's a faux chest, but I think that the only way that this could be done properly would be to have a faux chest, and I have no problem with that. If something is trying to achieve getting the final product of how it looked from an animation model that when it was designed had no intention of having accurate toys, aka 1986 Fluoro Diri designs, then I don't mind a fake chest. I really don't. As long as the final product looks good. It's the same thing with the Masterpiece Beast Wars stuff. If you have to have fake chests to make all of those characters look show accurate, bring it on, and I have no problem with that with my G1 stuff either. Makes the figure look well thinner too, and less to no backpack, which is remarkable in itself too. Now then, let's talk about the negatives though, unfortunately. There is some negatives. It's something that I really wish there was a Takara counterpart that would probably fix those negatives, and it's that of gang molded plastic. Now, there's one image that really shows it from a certain angle where, I'm going to post it anyways in the segment, but he's shooting his gun from a certain angle, and you could see that his kneecaps and his knees, his hip joints, the inner joints of under his body, under his chest pretty much, which make pretty much the back of the inside of the chest and a little bit of his shoulders, are all a gang molded yellow plastic that just breaks up the orange. And if all of this gang molded yellow plastic was orange, I think we wouldn't have a problem, but they went with that solid yellow. Now, there is no structural difference between orange plastic and yellow plastic. They decided to just go with the yellow over the orange. Now, the argument you could give, well, it has to be gang molded with that spoiler. And you would be correct, but it's just something where I feel that if they could have went the little extra mile, we could have fixed that. I'm hoping that there's a way that you could take this guy apart and we could have some 3D printer guys really put something together where we could get orange knees, orange hips, orange interior chest stuff, and get someone to 3D print, like I mentioned before, a more accurate spoiler. Because that spoiler, while I'm pretty sure people don't, they don't look at it as deeply as I do, but that's Rodimus Prime spoiler. That's not Hot Rod spoiler. It has to be a little flatter. So if we could get all that fixed up, it would look great. And again, that gang molded yellow, it transfers over into the alt mode. When you look at the car mode, it is what it is. It's fine. I mean, it's not the best car mode, but it is what it is. But the problem with it is that gang molded yellow now is very apparent on the top of the hood of the car mode. And that's where the weakness in this toy comes from, is the car mode, because it has that Rodimus Prime spoiler, it kind of works there a little bit, even though it's a little large. But having that yellow on the top there really is kind of bizarre. But otherwise, I mean, that robot mode. That robot mode is amazing. It scales pretty well. It's slightly larger than the average Earthrise Deluxe. It's considerably smaller than, let's say, the Leader Class Optimus, which works well from a scale standpoint. And it's something where it's like, man, when you think about like 14 years ago in 2006 when we got that first Classics Hot Rod, and anyone who saw my tweet today, it's been a long road, and I think it's finally there. The only other issue that I have is there's this weird sculpting in both of his tri-blasters on his wrists that have this little like ventilation on the wrist, on the blasters themselves. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's a plug-in weapon gimmick. If it is, I don't know. I mean, again, it's not perfect, but it's almost there. And when it comes to official retail product of Hot Rod, this is about as good as it's going to get. You know me, I'm going to get like 3 of these, and if someone makes an upgrade kit, I'm going to be all over that. So any of you 3D printer guys, pick up one of these, take it apart, and figure out a way to color match all those yellow parts into a matching orange that could then be reinstalled, and then figure out some way to make a more show-accurate spoiler. You could use the Metalverse Hot Rodimus statue as your base indication of how it should look. But otherwise, everything is stellar. This is incredible. I'm extremely excited. You know me, guys. I'm Hot Rod boy, fanboy number 1. So this is incredible stuff. And it makes me super excited for everything that we've seen thus far with the Transformers Studio Series line. And, man, like Jaws D, I was talking with him off the air, and I'm like, if Hot Rod looks this good, imagine how Jazz is going to look. This is some exciting stuff. Let me know what you think about him. Are you hyped? I know I am. And it's been a long road getting from there to here.